Speed rules everything in this universe. It decides how stars are born, how time flows, and how reality itself is stitched together. There is one number that stands above all others, unbroken and undefeated: the speed of light. It is not just fast, it is the absolute limit. Nothing with mass can cross it. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. This video uncovers why that limit exists and why the universe depends on it to survive. This is not about science fiction or wild guesses. This is about deep rules hidden inside space, time, and energy. By the end of this video, light speed will stop feeling like just a number. It will feel like a wall built into reality itself. A wall that keeps cause before effect, keeps time moving forward, and keeps the universe from collapsing into chaos. Light travels so fast that it can circle Earth more than 7 times in 1 second. That alone sounds extreme, yet that speed is not special because light is powerful. It is special because the universe allows nothing to go faster. Even the strongest particles smashing inside giant machines on Earth slow down as they approach this limit. The closer they get, the harder the universe pushes back. Energy piles up. Motion resists change. Space and time themselves begin to twist. This is where the real story begins. This video will explain how scientists uncovered this limit, why it cannot be broken, and what actually happens when something tries to reach it. The truth is far more unsettling than simple speed. The reason this limit exists is tied to how reality measures motion. Long ago, speed felt simple. Add motion to motion, and things just go faster. That rule works for cars and planes, but it breaks completely at cosmic scales. Experiments revealed a shocking fact. Light always moves at the same speed, no matter how fast the source is moving. This single discovery shattered old physics and forced a new view of reality. Space and time were no longer separate. They merged into one fabric. And within that fabric, light speed became the backbone. Every second, every meter, every cause and effect chain depends on it. As objects accelerate, they do not just move faster, their resistance to acceleration increases. Energy turns heavier, motion becomes harder to change. Near light speed, this resistance grows without limit. No engine can overcome it. No force can push through it. Reaching light speed would require infinite energy, and infinite energy does not exist in our universe. This is not a technical problem, it is a fundamental ban. Nature itself says no. That alone makes light speed more than a record. It makes it a boundary. There is another side to this rule that few people talk about. Particles with no mass do not choose their speed. They are forced to move at light speed. They cannot slow down, they cannot rest. This means light is not racing through space. It is locked to the structure of space-time itself. That structure uses light speed as its ruler. It sets how far causes can travel and how fast information can spread. Without this limit, the idea of before and after would collapse. Events could influence the past. Effects could appear before causes. Reality would lose order. This video will also reveal why faster than light travel breaks time itself. It is not just about moving fast, it is about sending information. If information could move faster than light, the universe would allow messages to arrive before they were sent. Paradoxes would appear everywhere. Decisions could erase themselves. Physics shuts this door completely. That is why every tested law of nature protects the light speed limit. It is a safety system for reality. There are even stranger truths ahead. Space itself can stretch faster than light, yet nothing inside it breaks the rule. This subtle detail explains distant galaxies and cosmic expansion without violating the limit. It also shows how carefully this boundary is enforced. The universe bends rules in clever ways, but it never breaks this one. By watching till the end, the speed of light will stop feeling abstract. It will feel like a guardian of order, a silent law that shapes every moment of existence. This channel dives into hidden truths like this, where science meets deep reality and familiar ideas turn unsettling. Welcome to the channel. If you want more videos that uncover the rules beneath the universe, subscribe now and stay with us as we push knowledge right up to the edge of what reality allows. The speed of light is a number that looks simple on paper, but changes everything once its meaning sinks in empty space. Light moves at about 300,000 kilometers every second. That means a single beam of light can cross an entire planet in a blink of an eye. Yet this speed is not impressive just because it is large. It is important because it never changes. It does not matter where the light comes from. It does not matter how fast the source is moving. It does not matter who is watching it or how they are moving. In a perfect vacuum, the speed of light is always the same. This makes it different from every other speed we know. Cars can go faster or slower. Planes depend on engines and air. Even sound depends on the material it moves through. Light does not care. In empty space, it follows one rule and one rule only. This fixed value is so reliable that scientists use it to define distance and time themselves. It is no longer just a measured speed. It is a foundation stone of reality. Calling it the speed of light can be misleading. Light is only the most visible example of something deeper. This speed is not owned by light alone. It belongs to the structure of the universe. Any signal with no mass is forced to move at this speed. This is why it is called a constant. A constant is not something that changes with conditions. It is built into how the universe works. Even if light did not exist, this speed would still be there, shaping how space and time interact. It connects distance and duration. It tells the universe how fast causes can lead to effects. When something happens in one place, this speed decides how soon that event can influence another place. Nothing can send information faster than this limit. This is not a technical limit caused by weak engines or poor materials. It is a rule written into reality itself. Long before this rule was known, people thought speed worked in a simple way. If someone walked forward inside a moving cart, their speed would add to the cart's speed. If the cart moved faster, the total speed increased. This idea worked perfectly for everyday life. It felt natural and obvious. For centuries, no one questioned it. When scientists first started studying light, they assumed the same rule applied. If light was fired from a moving source, its speed should change depending on how fast the source was moving. Faster source, faster light. Slower source, slower light. This made sense using old ideas of motion. Light was thought to move through an invisible medium, similar to how sound moves through air. This medium was called the ether. The idea was that Earth moved through this ether as it traveled around the sun, and this motion should affect the measured speed of light. To test this, careful experiments were designed. The most famous involved splitting a beam of light and sending the parts in different directions, then bringing them back together to compare their speeds. If Earth's motion through the ether affected light, one beam should arrive sooner than the other. The difference would reveal Earth's movement through space. The experiment was repeated many times with increasing precision. The result was shocking. No matter the direction, no matter the time of year, no matter how fast Earth moved, the speed of light was always the same. There was no sign of the ether, no shift, no difference. This result was deeply troubling because it broke the old rules of motion. At first, scientists tried to save the old ideas by adding small fixes. Maybe space shrank in the direction of motion. Maybe time slowed down just enough to hide the difference. These ideas seemed strange and uncomfortable, but they worked mathematically. Then came a radical step. Instead of adjusting the universe to fit old rules, the rules themselves were replaced. The speed of light was accepted as absolute. From this single decision, a new understanding of reality emerged. Space and time were no longer separate things. They became linked. Motion through space affected motion through time. Speed was no longer just distance divided by time. It was tied to how the universe measures both. This new framework explained the strange experiment results naturally. If the speed of light is the same for everyone, then space and time must adjust to make that happen. Moving clocks tick slower, moving lengths shrink. These effects are not illusions. They are real physical changes measured by experiments and technology every day. Satellites in orbit must account for them to work correctly. The speed of light sits at the center of all these effects. It is the reference point that everything else bends around. The deeper reason this speed becomes a limit lies in the connection between mass and energy. Objects with mass resist changes in motion. This resistance is what we feel as inertia. Pushing a heavy object is harder than pushing a light one. As an object speeds up, this resistance increases. At low speeds, the change is small and hard to notice. As speed grows, the effect becomes stronger. Near the speed of light, this resistance grows dramatically. The object behaves as if its mass is increasing. More energy is required for smaller and smaller gains in speed. This is not because the object is becoming physically larger. It is because energy and mass are linked. Adding energy adds to the object's inertia. This relationship is precise and unforgiving. As an object with mass approaches the speed of light, the energy required to keep accelerating it rises sharply, closer and closer to the limit. The energy requirement grows without bound. There is no final push that gets it over the line. No amount of force can finish the job. Reaching the speed of light would require infinite energy. Infinite energy does not exist in the universe. This is not a limitation of technology or imagination. It is a mathematical wall, backed by every experiment we have ever run. This is why even the most powerful machines on Earth cannot push particles with mass to light speed. They get incredibly close. They move so fast that time slows down for them, and distances shrink along their path. Yet no matter how much energy is poured in, they never reach the limit. Each added unit of energy produces less increase in speed than the one before. The universe responds by protecting the boundary. The closer you get, the harder it becomes. The limit remains untouched. Massless particles follow a different rule. They do not resist acceleration because they cannot be at rest. They do not have a slower state to begin with. For them, moving at the speed of light is not an achievement. It is a condition of existence. They cannot slow down. They cannot speed up. They always move at the same fixed speed in a vacuum. This makes the speed of light less about light itself and more about what happens when mass disappears from the equation. Without mass, there is no inertia to increase. There is no energy barrier to climb. The particle simply exists at the universal limit. This creates a sharp divide in the universe. Everything with mass lives below the limit. Everything without mass lives at the limit. There is no known way to cross from one category to the other. An object cannot gradually lose mass as it accelerates to slip through the barrier. Mass is not something that fades with speed. It is a fundamental property. As long as it exists, the speed limit applies. The speed of light also sets the pace for information. When something happens, the news of that event spreads outward at this speed or slower. This is why distant stars are seen as they were in the past. Their light takes time to reach us. This delay is not a flaw, it is a feature. It preserves order. Causes happen before effects. Messages arrive after they are sent. If information could travel faster than light, this order would break. Different observers would disagree on which event came first. Effects could appear to happen before their causes. The universe avoids this by enforcing the limit strictly. Time itself bends to protect this rule. When an object moves faster, its time slows down relative to a stationary observer. This is not a trick of measurement. It is a physical change. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. At the speed of light, time would stop completely for an object. For massless particles, time does not pass at all along their path. From their perspective, the journey from emission to absorption is instantaneous. This strange behavior is another sign that the speed of light is not just a speed, it is the dividing line between different modes of existence. The old idea of adding speeds fails completely at this boundary. No matter how fast you chase a beam of light, it still moves away from you at the same speed. This feels wrong using everyday logic, yet it matches every observation. The universe chooses consistency over intuition. The speed of light remains fixed, and space and time adjust instead. As understanding deepened, it became clear that this limit was not imposed from outside. It emerges naturally from the geometry of space-time. Space and time form a four-dimensional structure with built-in rules. One of those rules is that there is a maximum speed for anything that carries information or energy. That speed is what we call the speed of light. It is woven into the equations that describe gravity, motion, and energy. Remove it, and the equations fall apart. This is why the speed of light appears everywhere in physics. It links mass to energy. It connects space to time. It defines how fast reality updates itself. It is not a coincidence or a convenience. It is a necessity. Without it, the universe would not function as a coherent system. Attempts to bypass this limit always run into deeper problems. Pushing harder does not help. Adding more energy only increases resistance. Finding shortcuts through space does not allow objects to locally outrun the limit. Every tested theory that respects causality ends up preserving the same boundary. The universe allows creativity within its rules, but this rule remains untouched. Understanding this changes how speed is viewed. It is no longer just about motion. It is about structure. The speed of light is the speed at which the universe allows relationships to form between events. It is the pace at which reality connects itself. Everything slower exists within its shadow. Everything faster is forbidden, not by lack of effort, but by the way existence is built. The speed of light matters far beyond the idea of moving fast. It controls how information moves through the universe. Information is not just messages or signals. Information is any change that can affect something else. When a star explodes, when an atom vibrates, when a thought turns into an action, information is involved. The speed of light sets the maximum pace at which these changes can influence other places. This means there is a built-in delay between events that are far apart. Nothing can instantly affect everything else. This delay is not a weakness. It is a stabilizing feature. It gives the universe order. It ensures that events unfold in a sequence that makes sense. Without this limit, everything would blur together. Causes and effects would lose their meaning. Because information cannot travel faster than light, cause always comes before effect. This rule sounds obvious, but it is deeply fragile. If even one signal could travel faster than light, this order would collapse. Different observers moving at different speeds would disagree about the timing of events. One observer could see an effect happen before its cause. Another could see the same events in the opposite order. Physics would lose its ability to describe reality consistently. This is why the speed of light is not just about motion. It is about time itself. It protects the direction of time. It prevents paradoxes where actions erase themselves or outcomes appear without origins. Time travel stories often focus on machines and technology, but the real problem lies deeper. Faster than light communication would already be a form of time travel. A message sent faster than light could arrive in the past relative to some observers. This is not a matter of opinion or perspective. It falls straight out of how space-time works. Once the light speed limit is broken, time loops become possible. Information could chase itself backward. Decisions could affect their own causes. Physics avoids this by making sure the limit cannot be crossed. Every known law reinforces this protection. To understand why this protection is so strong, space and time must be treated as one thing. They are not separate stages where events happen. They are woven together into space-time. Every event has a position in space and a position in time, and these positions cannot be separated cleanly. Motion through space affects motion through time. This is not a metaphor. It is a measurable effect. Objects moving fast experience time differently. This connection means that any limit on speed is also a limit on how time can be experienced. The speed of light defines the shape of space-time itself. It acts like a conversion factor between space and time. It tells space-time how to balance distance and duration. Because this speed is fixed, space-time has a rigid structure. Within that structure, there are paths that objects and signals can follow. Some paths are allowed, others are forbidden. The forbidden paths are those that would require moving faster than light. They simply do not exist within the geometry of space-time. This is why the speed limit feels absolute. It is not enforced by an external rule. It emerges from the shape of reality. Every event creates a region around it that can be influenced by that event. This region expands outward at the speed of light. Anything outside that region cannot be affected yet. This creates a natural boundary between what can and cannot be connected. These boundaries organize the universe into layers of cause and effect. They make prediction possible. They allow physics to work. If faster than light travel were possible, these boundaries would dissolve. Events would spill into regions that should be unreachable. Order would give way to confusion. Faster than light travel is often imagined as simply going very fast, but the consequences are far stranger. Moving faster than light is not just moving faster through space. It is moving in a way that mixes space and time incorrectly. In some reference frames, faster than light motion would look like backward motion in time. This is not speculation. It is a direct result of the equations that describe space-time. Once the limit is crossed, time and space swap roles in dangerous ways. This is why no experiment has ever shown real faster-than-light information. Claims appear from time to time, often based on misunderstandings or unusual effects. When examined closely, the limit remains intact. Some effects look faster than light, but they do not carry information. Others involve space itself expanding, not objects moving through space. The distinction is subtle but critical. The universe allows strange behaviors as long as the core rule remains unbroken. One common misunderstanding is that light itself is special or magical. Light is not special because it is light. It is special because it has no mass. Any particle without mass would behave the same way. Light simply happens to be the most familiar example. If another massless particle were discovered, it would also move at the same speed in a vacuum. The speed of light would still be the limit, even if light did not exist. This shows that the limit is deeper than the phenomenon we use to observe it. Another misunderstanding involves cosmic expansion. Distant galaxies appear to move away from us faster than light. This sounds like a violation of the speed limit, but it is not. The galaxies are not moving through space faster than light. Space itself is stretching between us and them. Locally, nothing breaks the rule. Nearby objects still obey the limit strictly. The expansion of space changes distances without sending information faster than light. This preserves causality while allowing the universe to grow. There are also illusions created by wave behavior. Patterns can move faster than light without carrying information. A shadow can sweep across a surface faster than light if the source is far away. This does not mean anything physical is moving at that speed. No particle, no energy, no message is traveling faster than the limit. These examples often confuse people, but they do not threaten the rule. The speed limit is tied directly to energy. As speed increases, energy requirements rise sharply. This is not a coincidence. Energy and time are linked. Energy measures the ability to cause change over time. If something could move faster than light, it would carry energy in a way that breaks this relationship. The equations that conserve energy would fail. Physics would lose one of its most basic tools. Mass plays an equally important role. Objects with mass experience time. They move through space-time in a way that always stays below the limit. Massless objects move differently. They do not experience time in the same way. They move along paths where time does not pass. This sharp difference explains why the limit exists and why it separates two types of existence. Crossing from one type to the other would require changing the nature of mass itself. Causality sits at the center of all this. Causality is the rule that causes produce effects. It is the backbone of logic. science, and experience. The speed of light protects causality by limiting how influences spread. If this protection failed, science would fail with it. Predictions would lose meaning. Experiments would not have stable outcomes. The universe would become inconsistent. Every attempt to build a theory that allows faster-than-light motion runs into these problems. Either causality breaks, or energy conservation fails, or space-time loses coherence. Theories that respect these foundations always keep the same limit. This is why the speed of light appears again and again in different areas of physics. It is a unifying element. It connects motion, energy, time, and structure into a single framework. The limit also shapes how we observe the universe. Looking farther means looking back in time. Light from distant objects carries information from the past. This creates a natural history recorded across space. Without the speed limit, this structure would vanish. Everything would be immediate. There would be no cosmic record, no visible evolution, no layered history written in light. Even technology depends on this rule. Communication systems rely on predictable delays. Navigation systems account for the finite speed of signals. High-precision measurements depend on the stability of light speed. The rule is not an obstacle. It is a reliable feature that allows complexity to exist. Speculation about breaking the limit often focuses on shortcuts through space-time. These ideas involve bending space-time itself rather than moving through it. Even here, the core rule remains respected locally. No object outruns light in its immediate surroundings. The geometry does the work, not speed. This again shows how deeply the limit is embedded in space-time. The idea of a universal speed limit feels restrictive, but it is actually liberating. It gives the universe consistency. It allows laws to apply everywhere. It ensures that reality behaves the same way, regardless of who observes it. Without this shared reference, physics would fragment into conflicting descriptions. Understanding this shifts how speed is viewed. Speed is not just how fast something moves from one place to another. It is a measure of how events connect across space-time. The speed of light defines the maximum rate of connection. Everything slower fits neatly into the structure. Everything faster is excluded by design. The universe does not announce this rule loudly. It reveals it quietly through consistent behavior. Every experiment that tests extreme speeds confirms it. Every theory that survives scrutiny respects it. The speed of light stands not as a challenge to overcome, but as a guide to how reality is built, shaping every interaction without exception, holding time, space, energy, and cause together in a single stable order. Everything comes back to this single boundary. No matter how advanced technology becomes, no matter how powerful energy grows, no matter how far imagination stretches, the universe draws a clear line that cannot be crossed. The speed of light is not just a number written in textbooks. It is a rule that holds reality together. It decides how fast the universe can react to itself. It protects the order of time. It keeps causes locked before effects. It separates what is possible from what will never be allowed. In our universe, nothing can outrun the speed of light. Not matter, not energy, not even time itself. Once this sinks in, speed stops being impressive and starts becoming meaningful. The limit is not there to restrict us. It is there to make everything else possible. If this video changed the way you see the universe, show your support by liking it. Share it with someone who loves deep ideas and mind-bending science. And subscribe to the channel for more videos that uncover the hidden rules shaping reality, one truth at a time.